Alaikum salam wa barakatuh, Imam. Gracias. Ajia. Alaikum salam wa barakatuh. Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Alájà Adébúlé àwọn tó bá tọ́jú mọ́sálásí ní ẹ̀bá ọlọ́pàá kó bá dúpẹ́ fún báràkà ẹ̀bá wọlé ibi tá a ti process wọlé
tomato 6 in the bear kó charge yẹ
ẹ̀bá wọlé
5 minutes
ẹ̀bá ló wíwí ẹ̀bá fẹ́ kí ọ̀nà ẹ̀bá wọ̀ bismillah
ṣé ó ń lọ sókè lọ́nà àbọ̀?
ọmọ kí ọ̀nà
ṣé wọ́n lálọ́ lẹ́yìn?
so ìyá yẹn dà ó kàn kírun sí ẹni.
Allahu akbar kabira walhamdulillahi kaseera wa subhanallahi bukratan wa asila la ilaha illallah wahdahu anjaza wa'dahu wa nasra 'abdahu wa a'azza jundahu We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this beautiful opportunity. And, we can't continue to not thank Allah enough for His mercy, for giving us the I'd like you all to demonstrate the decorum so that we can all listen attentively. And for a lot of people that have come from far and wide, and enjoy the benefit of the reason why they are here today. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this a beneficial knowledge. Ameen. The next item on the agenda is to go on to one of our Ufad. So we call on to Ali Lawal and Akil Adeyemi. They will be engaging us with the Quranic recitation, inshallah. So the first person that will be reading the Quran, that's Ali Lawal. Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا.
صدق الله.
الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون. لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون. إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون. وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون. وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون. إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم. صدق الله العظيم.
We still have to do that. You will have to do that silently. So donate silently. I'm sure our mothers, our Amira, will pass that around. The donation box around whereby you will donate and contribute in terms of real support from the masjid, inshallah. The next item on the agenda, that's the introduction of our host imam, the president, the guest imams, and our speaker lecturer for the day. Now, our host imams for tonight, inshallah, that's our imam, our chief imam of Masjid Mubarak, our chief imam Al-Haji Nuruddin Migdad Ali. Takbir. 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 Also our imam of Masjid Mubarak, that's imam Al-Haji Bashir Abdul-Lateef. Takbir. Takbir. We also have our imam, our chief imam of Masjid Ibad Rahman, Al-Haji Imam Yahya Nafi. Takbir. Takbir. He's also the Amir for the regional council. Also, I would like to introduce someone that you and I know very, very well. Is in our midst today, and that's our imam, our Deen. He's also, he's always everywhere in terms of continuing to spread the word of Islam to each and everyone, wherever he's at, whether it's in the UK, whether it's in Nigeria, even in America as well, worldwide. And we can't, continue to thank him enough for this beautiful opportunity. And even thank Allah for this immense opportunity that He has bestowed him into our society, even to the Ummah, for us to be able to enjoy from this fountain of knowledge. And that's the name of Al-Haji Dr. Abdul-Hakeem Abdul-Lateef. Takbir! 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 I'm sure each and every one of us must have been hearing this name day in and day out. Day in, day out. Dr. Abdul-Hakeem Abdul-Lateef. Well, who is he? I would like to read just a little bit of his profile, inshallah. A little bit of his profile. It's a lot, but in the interest of time, I will paraphrase, his profile. And I pray that he forgives me for that. Dr. Abdul-Hakeem Abdul-Lateef has graduated over 305. Takbir. 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 Most of the students are now living at various capacity, especially during the time of Ramadan. We get to enjoy the beautiful recitation. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward them, their parents, the Masjid Mubarak in time. Ameen. The Masjid Mubarak serves as an Islamic cultural center where we continue to offer various events, such as Halaqah, naming ceremonies, and Haqiqah, and also Nikah. The Masjid also holds an active Muslim youth program that seeks to promote brotherhood, as I said earlier, amongst our youth leaders in this community. The Masjid Mubarak engages in various communal efforts to help the people of the community in which it is located, as well as also many other people across the world. These efforts also include a monthly food pantry in the city of Newark, New Jersey, where members of the Masjid distribute food to the needy, and various fundraising efforts to help the victims of natural disasters across the world. And this is Masjid Mubarak. The next item on the agenda, without further ado, is for us to present our guest speaker, Dr. Abdul-Hakeem Abdul-Lateef. Takbir, takbir. Takbir. Takbir.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Our Father, the Chief Imam, and other invited Imams, our fathers seated here, our mothers, my brothers and sisters in Islam, I join the management of Naim to also welcome you wholeheartedly, even though you wanted to welcome me and the one welcoming you now. I say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Almighty Allah reward you all. May Allah bless you. This is amazing. listened, when I entered, I did not expect to meet this type of congregation. Ever since I've been going around America, this is large. And something greater than this was what I had when I heard that we have produced over 300 profiles. This is wonderful. May Almighty Allah continue to bless you. This is a great precedent, and I urge all other states, including Nigeria, to borrow a leaf from this. I just told my brothers in Texas that everyone should always feel at home. Wherever you are is your home. Because this dunya is not really our home. We are on a journey. And wherever you find yourself, just ensure that you discharge your duties. And what you are doing here, Allah Akbar. Maybe I'll discuss with my wife whether we will not go anywhere again. But I can see Sijaba waiting. I asked about the language and they said English. But of course, I will do Amuri Mala. I'm sure you understand me. Because my waka is in Yoruba. And if I don't start with that waka, it's like president addressing people without national anthem. So I'm going to start by introducing myself. You know, I was earlier introduced. But the person who introduced me, he doesn't know me anyway. He's trying to give me some feathers to, but I will introduce myself properly. And when I say it, you should repeat. If you bear that same attribute with me. Èmi tẹ̀rí mi ò jẹ́ nǹkan. Èmi ò jẹ́ nǹkan kí n tó dáyé. Èmi ò jẹ́ nǹkan kí n tó dáyé. Lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí mi ò jẹ́ nǹkan. Ṣàfọ̀mọ́ fọ́lọ́run tó ga. Ẹni ṣàfọ̀mọ́ fọ́lọ́run tó ga. Ẹni tó jẹ́ nǹkan lọ́ba tó láyé. Ẹni tó jẹ́ nǹkan lọ́ba tó láyé. Àjọkẹ́ ayé Àṣàkẹ́ ọ̀run. Àjọkẹ́ ayé Àṣàkẹ́ ọ̀run. Òun nìkan ló màmá jẹ́ nǹkan. Òun nìkan ló màmá jẹ́ nǹkan. Èmi tẹ̀rí mi ò ní nǹkan. Èmi tẹ̀rí mi ò ní nǹkan. Mi ò ní nǹkan ni mo tún sọ sí i lọ. Àti parí mi ò jẹ́ nǹkan o. Àti bá sórí mi ò ní nǹkan o. Èmi tẹ̀rí mi ò ní nǹkan. Èmi tẹ̀rí mi ò ní nǹkan. Èmi ò ní nǹkan kí n tó dáyé. Èmi ò ní nǹkan kí n tó dáyé. Àtọwọ́ àtọmọ tàlàrù ni. Àtọwọ́ àtọmọ tàlàrù ni. Òun nìkan ló màmá ní nǹkan. Òun nìkan ló màmá ní nǹkan. Èmi tẹ̀rí mi ò ní mọ̀ kan. Èmi tẹ̀rí mi ò ní mọ̀ kan. Mi ò mọ̀ gbà tí mo dé mú ìyá mi. Mi ò mọ̀ gbà tí mo dé mú ìyá mi. Mi ò mórí ilẹ̀ tí mo fẹ́ tán sí. Mi ò mórí ilẹ̀ tí mo fẹ́ tán sí. I said that this is how I want to do my thing. This is how I have been doing it. You must be ready to do 3 things. To learn from Allah. Learn from who? What you have not learned. Because we will keep learning until we die. We learn from cradle to grave. The second thing is, you must be ready to unlearn whatever Allah says is wrong. And you must also be ready to relearn what you have adopted in Islam, which has always worked for you. If you hear me repeat it. Are we on the same page? Ntí mo sọ ni pé ẹ má wá síbí pẹ̀lú ọkàn pé bí mo ṣe ń ṣe nǹkan mi mo fẹ́ máa ṣe. Ẹ wá pẹ̀lú pé tó tí n bá tún gbọ́ tọ́lọ́wọ́n bá tún sọ pé báyìí ló ṣe yẹ ká ṣe torí àwọn àfáà wa ni wọ́n jókòó yìí. Gbogbo àwọn àfáà wa yìí tí wọ́n ń sọ lójoojúmọ́ ni. Ìtàn sọ tèmi náà fẹ́ wá sùn. And if you talk about smartness, only Allah is smart. Allah will tell you that no one can frustrate my plan. What is the plan of Allah? You are the plans of Allah. I am the plan of Allah. The heavens and the earth, these are the plans of Allah. Ètò Ọlọ́run kan kò ní dàrú. Ọlọ́run lè jẹ́ ká yé wa dàrú. Àmọ́ ibi tó lọ́run nífẹ̀ẹ́ wa dé, ibi tó nífẹ̀ẹ́ wa dé, ẹ ti ẹ̀ kíra yín kó rire ṣá. Ó ń pè wá ní Suratu Imran, Aya 110. Suratu Imran 110. Ẹ ti kọ́, a máa ṣe dánwò. In Quran chapter 3 verse 110, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat lin-nas. Allah says you are the best community evolved for mankind. Why? Everyone has what we have. Because we can see, they can see. We can talk, they can talk. We are rich, they are rich. We are poor, they are poor. You give back, they give back. The disbelievers have what you have. The only thing they lack is the guidance of Allah. Your greatest possession is called Al-Huda. Everybody say Al-Huda. Al-Huda. Your greatest possession, without which you are not different from them. Kí ló dé tọ́lọ́run fi sọ pé àwa níjọ tó dáa jù? Why is Allah referring to us as the best community? He said, Ta'muruna bil ma'ruf. Because you command what is good. Wa tanhauna 'anil munkar. Because you forbid what is wrong. Wa tu'minuna billah, and you believe in Allah. So easily you can see why they are wrong. They command what is evil. The war you are fighting currently, producing ufas in this community. Yesterday I was addressing our women at Masjid Mu'minin in Houston, and we were looking at the challenges facing our children in this day and time. You understand what I mean? A child that was well brought up will go to an institution and come back to tell the parent that from today I'm a guy. One even told me, he said, from today I'm a cat. And there's a system well fortified to support him even against his parents. Are you with me? So, that was a system go. But the best way to always start is for me to identify, Islam is the way. Because if you are talking about steadfastness, anybody who does not truly agree that Islam is the way, but the parents are forcing him to do Islam, can never be steadfast. Once there's an element of doubt in your life, you cannot be steadfast. You cannot dúró ṣinṣin, o lè dúró ṣinṣin tó bá ní iyèméjì lọ́kàn nípa Islam. Ṣé wọ́n ní mo gbá? Ṣé kí n fún yín?
تتنزل عليهم الملائكة ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا وأبشروا بالجنة التي كنتم توعدون نحن أولياؤكم في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة ولكم فيها ما تشتهي أنفسكم ولكم فيها ما تدعون نزلا من غفور رحيم. Allah says, those who say our Lord is Allah and they stand firmly with it regardless of any situation, they stand, they remain unshaken by events, by the loss of a husband, by the loss of their wife, or by being barren, or by not being fertile, or by whatever challenges. They are never shaken. They stand firm. At the time of their death, the angels will descend and say, O servant of Allah, do not be afraid of where you are going. Do not feel miserable. Allah asks us to give you the good news of Al-Jannah that He has promised you. We have always been your companion and friends in this world. You have no friend here and you don't need one. So, say what I mean? And I don't need one. For Allah is sufficient for me.
Allah is sufficient for me.
Àwọn màláìka ń sọ pé ìwọ tó dé péńdé tó sọ pé Ọlọ́run ọba àlàlọ́ Ọlọ́run ọba mi ọwọ́ dúró ṣinṣin mímí kan ò mí ẹ́ níní nǹkan ò kó sí ẹ lórí àìní nǹkan ò sọ ẹ́ dẹni tí ò ní sí lọ́hùn mọ́. Nígbà tó bá dijọ́ tí yẹn fẹ́ jáde láyé àwọn màláìka ó dé wọ́n ní lágbájá ọmọ tàbẹ̀tù má bànújẹ́ ikú ló dé má bànújẹ́ má bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run ní ká máa fún ẹ ní òdùn àlìjánná onídẹ̀ra tó lọ́n ṣe lórí fún ẹ. Nínú àlìjánná yìí ìyàtọ̀ ń fẹ́ kẹ́ mu àwọn nǹkan táyà yìí sọ èyí tí ó ṣe é ṣe láyé bí ló wà bẹ́ẹ̀ ìtẹ́ni rẹ̀ ń fẹ́ láyé ò lè rí ẹ wà mí kí ni mo sọ sí ìtẹ́ni rẹ̀ ń fẹ́ ò lè rí ni o ò sì lè rí tó ń béèrè fún níbí. Ìdí tàdúrà bí ò lè gbà délẹ̀ nìyẹn o ó tún gbà o kò sádùrà tá a ṣe tí ò gbà o àmọ́ kò tún gbà bá a ṣe fẹ́ àìbẹ́ẹ̀kọ́ mùsùlùmí kì í mi kàn tó bá ṣàdúrà Ànábì Muhammad ó ládùúrà tí ò ní gbà ẹ̀ ní rántí ṣe tó tẹ́ bá ti ṣàdúrà báyìí kẹ́ nígbà gbogbo ṣe kí ni torí nínú kí n rí ohun tí mo fẹ́ ó gbà nìyẹn ó ní tó o bá wá rí ohun tó o fẹ́ ó tún gbà nìyẹn ẹ gbọ́ mi dáadáa. Ó lélẹ̀ kẹta àwọn àdúrà tẹ́ ẹ ṣe tó bá níjọ́ tẹ́ ẹ jáde láyé tẹ́ ẹ bá dálé kì í àmọ́ tẹ́ ẹ bá rí ntọ́lọ́ fi tọ́jú dè yín ẹ máa sọ pé ò bá ti má ṣe kankan láyé Ọlọ́run máa gbàdúrà wa o. Bẹ́ẹ̀ mo kàn fẹ́ kó o ti mọ̀ pẹ̀lú àyà yìí pé ìntẹ́mi mi ń fẹ́ ìlérí o ọ̀hún ní tìrí gbogbo ntẹ́mi mi bá ń fẹ́ nítorí ilé ayé mi ní ntọ́lọ́hún ń fẹ́. Má ṣe ẹjọ́ ṣe wà mí kí láàrin láyé ìtọ́lọ́hún ń fẹ́ láàrin torí wọ́n kan ẹ̀mí rẹ̀ ò fẹ́ ọ wíwáyé rẹ̀ Ọlọ́run lóhùn ìwọ́kọ́ ẹ gbọ́ ẹ máa gbọ́ dáadáa o nígbà tó fẹ́ sọ bóun ṣe dá wa ó ní lillahi mulku samawati wal ard tèmi Ọlọ́run ní gbogbo lásán. Yakhluqu ma yasha èmi ni mò ń dá nǹkan tó wù mí kò sọ pé èmi ni mò ń dá nǹkan tó wù kí n dáhùn àbóhùn yìí kọ́ ló ń dá ayé kẹ́ ẹ̀ tó dé mi ẹ̀ tí ẹ̀ mọ́ tó ń pè láyé ẹ̀ tọrọ pé ẹ fẹ́ wá ẹ̀ sọ pé kí ọ̀dá mi lọ́kùnrin ẹ̀ ní kí ọ̀dá mi lóbìnrin ẹ̀ sọ pé kí ẹ̀ ríran tí n bá dé Ọlọ́run ló dára. Orúkọ mẹ́ta mo fẹ́ fún yín o
ní New Jersey bí ní o ṣe súná fáwọn tọ̀hún ẹ̀yìn lẹ́gbàá súná. Ẹ sọ pé èmi ni yẹ̀pẹ̀ ọmọ yẹ̀pẹ̀ akadé ní àdúgbò ọmọ fọwọ́kan rà rẹ̀ èmi ni yẹ̀pẹ̀ ọmọ yẹ̀pẹ̀. Ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì èmi ni Olúwa ti fún. Ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹta ẹ̀wọ̀n láyé. Ọlọ́mọdé atúmọ̀ rẹ̀ ká tó lọ àkórí o. Ṣé mo ti yọ mi tí ìsìnkọ́ mọ̀ ti jáde àbí? Ó ti ẹtí rí oore tó wà fáwọn tí wọ́n bá dúró ṣiṣẹ́ àbí? Ó tún wá sọ fún wọn ní Suratu Ahqaf, Quran chapter 46, ayah 13 sí 14. Kẹ́ni mọ táwọn afáfin tọ́pìkì yìí o, Sura ni wọ́n tún fò yẹ́ sí. Allah says in Quran chapter 46, verse 13 to 14, Inna alladhina qalu rabbuna Allahu thumma istaqamu fala khawfun alayhim wala hum yahzanun ulaika ashabul jannah hum fiha khalidun. Ìgbà wọn bàbá wa fi mú tọ́pìkì ni pé tọ́pìkì wo ló lè sọ wá dọ̀mọ̀ àlìjánnà. Ọlọ́run láwọn tí wọ́n sọ pé èmi Ọlọ́run ni Ọlọ́run wọn, wọ́n lè dúró ṣinṣin. Kọ́ má bẹ̀rù, kọ́ má bànújẹ́. Inú àlìjánnà ni wọ́n lọ. Ẹ̀sọ́ bọ́lọ́run kà ní mọ́ wọn. Oya, àti wá fẹ́ bọ́ sí points tó máa jẹ́ ká dúró ṣinṣin. Do you allow me to give you up to 20? Number 1. Remove your doubt today about who your Creator is. Kí ni mo sọ? Èmi ni kò fòpin sí iyèméjì tí ń bá ẹ jà lórí ta ló dá mi gangan. Ẹni tó bá ti lè rí yẹn mú, ó máa rí gbogbo pọ́ǹtì tó kù mọ́lé ni. Ṣé mo bí ẹ̀sìn pọ̀? Ayọ̀ ẹ̀rọ. Ẹ̀sìn pọ̀ kò sí wàhálà o, èmi náà dá ọ̀tún ẹ̀ o. Bẹ̀tẹ̀ mọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹyọ kan ló dúró ṣá. Bá a ṣe máa mọ̀ rí o. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ mọ ìyá tó bí ẹ náwó. Ẹ tó mọ ìyá ẹ̀kọ́ náwó ẹ náwó o, ẹ náwó sókè o, Ọlọ́run rí yín o. Those of you who know your mom, please raise your hand. You know your mom? Wonderful people. Give you love. Okay, those who know their dad, if you know your dad, you know your father, wonderful people, Kabirullah. May Allah bless your parents. May Allah bless your fathers and your mothers. Wallahi, you do not know your mother. I have 15 minutes more. You say after Salah you continue. No, I will have told you straight away that you Madabi Rumio. I don't know what to say. Java, if I'm on bar, the dog can make good food even at you go. If it's not like the pay, and the Eskimos are one line, music parrot, my yai, Simon, Bye. Ẹ má bínú ẹ mọ̀ kí mi tó bú yín ẹ̀yin lẹ bí mi. Ní tí mo ṣe sọ pé ẹ̀mọ̀ wọn ni pé ẹ̀mọ̀gbà tẹ́ ẹ dénú oyún yẹn, ẹ̀mọ̀gbà tẹ́ ẹ di àtọ̀, ẹ̀mọ̀gbà tí àtọ̀ di bá sí ẹran, ẹ̀mọ̀gbà bá sí ẹran di gungun, ẹ̀mọ̀gbà tí gungun tó ń fẹ́ràn bò ó, ẹ̀ẹ̀kẹ́ mọ́nú ẹni tẹ́ ẹ wà. Ìjọ tó tún wá ń bí yín ẹ̀mọ̀ dí ẹni tẹ́ ti ń jáde. Àwọn tó ṣe kó mọ tèmi náà jókòó yìí, àwọn àfa ẹ̀yin náà wà mí kó mọ mi títẹ́ máa fún ọ̀kẹ́ wà ń bẹ̀ tí n bá sọ̀rọ̀ yẹ gẹ̀ẹ́tì. Ìgbà tí bàbá gbé mi dání jọ yẹn njẹ́ ọkọ mọ wọn ní ọmọ ìyá ti mọ̀ ọ́ ẹ máa parí ẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ tó gbé ilé wa ń bẹ̀. Ọlọ́run tí ó mọ̀ wá mẹ́ni kankan ẹlòmíì bí ìyá ẹ̀ sì bí nìyẹn ìjáde láyé ẹlòmíì ọ̀dọ̀ ẹ̀gbọ́n ìyá ẹ̀ ló dàgbà sí i ẹlòmí ọ̀dọ̀ orogún ìyá ẹ̀ ni ẹni tó dàgbà sọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀ tó bá sọ fún ẹ náà lọ há sórí. Olórí ẹbí mi tó fi ìyá mi hàn mí ó lè jẹ́ ológogoro ní òun tó bá sọ fún ọmọ ọlọ́mọ há sórí. You don't know your mothers, you don't know your fathers. Do you know what you have done? You believe. Kí ni mo sọ jàmá? This is where belief comes in. You merely believe. And for you to believe a thing, there must be two conditions. Kéèyàn tó gba nǹkan gbọ́, nǹkan méjì gbọ́dọ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀. What's the name of this city? Newark. Any other name?
Brick City.
No, one name, never do you go. Newark ni mo sọ. Do you agree it's Newark?
Yeah.
And now look for someone else to say it is not Newark. Nobody said so. I believe it is Newark. So the issue of belief comes in when somebody says a thing and no one controverts. Into máa ń jẹ́ kí gbàgbọ́ dé tẹ́nìkan bá fi sọ nǹkan kan táàrẹ ni tó sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ mọ́. Níjọ́ tí àyè ti sọ pé èmi nìyá ẹ̀, ó wá fura títí ládùúgbò nínú ẹbí ẹnìkan máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ̀ mọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ló bá yà gbà pé òun ní kí ni. The two conditions ni pé ẹnìkan sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ kò fẹ́ tún sẹ́ni tó sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ nù. Kí lẹ fún wa bàbá ẹ sáré dáhùn. Ẹnìkan sọ pé òun ni bàbá mi àìrẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kí lẹ ni mo fi believe. Dáhùn mọ́. Ẹlòmí ò sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́. Àbí mo ń rọ́ọ̀sì torí irun ni o. Fóònù Samsung àbábà kan Samsung sí. Tí bá ní ìjẹ́mẹ́rin tó ṣe tẹ́ bá fẹ́ kọ́ rẹ̀ tẹ́ gbọ́dọ̀ sọ pé àmọ́ bọ́tà nígbàgbọ́ pé Samsung ni kí ló fà á Samsung nìkan ló kọ orúkọ sí àbẹ̀rẹ̀ kí ló mi tún ṣe kí ni o. Ó ti débi tí mò ń lọ. Nínú orúfù ilé àti sánmọ̀ èwo lọ́rí jí náà ìwọ ní fẹ́ẹ̀kì. Fẹ́ẹ̀mọ̀ kì í fẹ́ẹ̀kì lélẹ̀. Nínú ẹ̀ tí mọ̀ kì í fẹ́ẹ̀kì lélẹ̀. Fẹ́ẹ̀kì lélẹ̀ ẹ̀wọ̀n ètò tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Morocco. Ọlọ́mọdé àdúrà ló jẹ́. Earthquake lóru ní 1,000 tí wọ́n kú. Wọ́n gbé lé mi ilé ìdàgbé bisikíìtì ní ọmọ earthquake. Ọlọ́mọ fi kàn wá. So mo ní nínú ilé ìyá àti sọmọ èwo lọ́rí jìnnà. Ó kì í gbà tá a mẹni tó ṣe léyìí. Ṣé tó ṣe sọmọ ṣe yẹ kójú máa tì kó má lè sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ tó gbé òun bẹ́ẹ̀, tó gbóṣùpá bẹ́ẹ̀, tó gbé ràwọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀, tó gbé màlúwà ní síbẹ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ kó tí kò má lè sọ̀rọ̀. Ó ti sọ̀rọ̀ o. Àtijọ́ tó ti sọ̀rọ̀ ẹlòmíì ó sọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ o. A sọ fún ọkọ máa sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn náà kan sọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ o. Suratu An'am, Quran chapter 6 verse 1. Olórí alhamdulillahi alladhi khalaqa as-samawati wal-ard wa ja'ala adh-dhulumati wan-nur thumma alladhina kafaru bi rabbihim ya'dilun. Allah says, praise be to Allah who created the heavens and the earth. He is in charge of darkness and light. Ever since Allah made that statement, Taloto saw. Yes, kí la fi máa ń believe in God? Kí ló máa kí ni condition tàbí believe in God? Condition mélòó? Condition méjì ni. Tẹ́nìkan bá ti sọ nǹkan, àwa ò bóyá lómi tún sọ. Àwọn ọ̀nà bíbélì látòkè délẹ̀. A lọ sọ́dọ̀ àwọn oníṣẹ̀ṣe. À ń bí gbogbo wọn káàkiri ẹjọ́ ta ló dá sánmà. Ẹnìkan sọ ọmọ látijọ́ tí Ọlọ́run àlá tó ti lé mi ní mo dá sánmà. Ẹ bá gbórúkọ ẹ̀ tóbi. So tó bá fẹ́ ẹ̀gẹ́jọ àánú dìbẹ́tì nǹkan kékeré ni a kàn máa sọ pé Ọlọ́run ti wá sọ báyìí bóyá ìwọ náà sọ tiẹ̀. Ẹ ṣe máa sọ pé mo sì mú ìyá kí mo níyà. Ìyá mi ò sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́. Ẹ̀yin ló kú o nínú ẹsẹ̀ tẹ̀fí rìn àti táyà mọ́tò èwo ni original èwo ni fake. Ẹsẹ̀ tuntun èwo ni original. Ẹsẹ̀ ni original. Táyà mọ́tò ni fake àbí. Tẹ́tí téèjì táyà mọ́tò jẹ́ téèjì ẹsẹ̀ yìí rí. ṣé tẹ́ni tó ń ṣe táyà tójú ò bá tì í tó sọ pé mi mo ṣe táyà ṣó yẹ kójú tẹni tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ táyà ò lọ́wọ́ o ẹsẹ̀ lé lọ́wọ́ o ó lẹ́nu o ó ń sọ̀rọ̀ o ó lójú o ó ríran o ó létí o ó ń gbọ́ràn o. dọ́lọ́pàá ní èmi mo ṣe táyà yìí mìtẹ́líà ní èmi mo ṣe táyà yìí alókọ̀ọ́lùkọ́ sí wà lára èyí ní bàyàlá ẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ Quran chapter 6 verse 2 Allah says huwa alladhi khalaqakum min tin thumma qada ajala wa ajalun musamman indahu thumma antum tamtarun. Allahu akbar. Allah says, I created you. My brothers and sisters who do not understand Yoruba, all I have established is that there is nothing without an owner. For you to understand why you worship your Lord, you need to understand who owns me. Who does what? You must be able to identify with the Creator. If you don't know your Creator, you cannot know the right religion. Once you know your Creator, and the only way to know your Creator is, please listen carefully, who has ever claimed to have created me? Then Allah begins. Quran 6 verse 2, Allah says, I created you. In fact, in several places, let us read Iqra. Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaqa khalaqal insana min. It kept on saying, I created you. Read Surah Ar-Rahman. Ar-Rahman. Ibulajoki ayu. Allama al-Quran. Imoso Quran kaleo khalaqal insana. Emi mo damenya. So let's go to the next condition. Ever since tolong tile mi ni mo da yin e ba n pari e. Our brothers should participate ranu. Láti ìgbà tọ́lọ́ ti lé mi ni mo dá yín, ta ló tún sọ̀rọ̀? Ó yẹ jẹ́ ká bèrè ní kankan, kí ni àwọn nǹkan tó kù táwọn èèyàn ń pè lọ́lọ́run? Wọ́n bá wa dá sí afáfẹ́ wa wọn lọ́lé. Ẹlẹ́gbọ́n Jesus is Lord, àìrẹ́kọ̀. Wọ́n á pè lọ́wọ́ Christian, ẹjọ́ ibo ló ti sọ, bí sọ pé kí n tó sọ báà ń lọ́dọ̀, ibo ló ti sọ pé èmi ni mo dá yín. Wọ́n ti bá ní sáà ṣe wọn rí o. Kò sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ rí o. Wàhálà kan àdúrà láwùjọ. Ìgbà tí yẹ ẹ bí ẹ̀mọ̀ pé kò sẹ́ni tó súnmọ́ yẹ. Bí ó lè ti sẹ́ni tó súnmọ́ ìyá ẹ̀ yẹn lọ́dọ̀ níyàwó lẹ́nu. Nǹkan kékeré. Ta lè dárúkọ nǹkan 5,000 tí wọ́n súnmọ́ ìyá ẹ̀. Ẹ̀bẹ́ ẹ̀rẹ́ ni. Ẹ̀rẹ́ ní ká sọ nǹkan 5,000 tí wọ́n súnmọ́ ìyá ẹ̀. Ọlọ́run lọ́ba ti ń dáyà. Ó lè dáyà kó má ní bàbá kó má níyà. Ó lè sọ pé ìdèyàn. Ó lè kò sí tọ́lọ̀ mo lè ṣe. Ọ̀sẹ̀ ìgbẹ́ kí á mọ̀. Moses igi lọ́mọ dání. Ọlọ́run ní ọmọ tí nípa ìyẹn mi nípa ìyá Musa kí ni bẹ lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀ Moses. Kọ́lá ìyá àsọ́yà igi mi ní àtàwọn káwọ́ àlẹ́ ìyá olùgbé mọ́mì mi. Màá fi ń tẹ̀lé tí n bá ń lọ wà ó ṣubí àlàdọ́nà mi. Màá fi ń jẹ́ ìwé fáwọn ẹran mi. Àlẹ́ àfihàn màá rí òkúrọ̀ mo tún máa fi kí iṣẹ́ rí. Ọlọ́run àríkí àyà Musa ju kí náà lẹ̀ ló bá ju bí lẹ̀ ní kí bá dé jù. Láti bá dé jù náà. Láti dé jù náà. Bóyá ní Jẹ́sì bí abẹ́dàrúkọ 5,000 tí mo bá yẹ sùn. Lálẹ́ máa bẹ̀rẹ̀. Èyí ń bọ́lẹ̀ wọlé orí lọ tó máa ń yá kọjá. Wọ́n bá jẹ́ àyẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ bí èèyàn tó serious. Bóyá tẹsẹ̀ mọ́rin. Ajá yẹn tí ẹ bá rí ajá akọ àti ajá abo tó bá jọ láṣepọ̀ tó bá lóyún kí náà máa bí ajá àti bàbá ajá ṣe ń délé ayé. Ó yẹ jẹ́ àpadà sí ìbẹ̀rẹ̀. Ajá nọ́mbà 1 tó kọ́kọ́ délé ayé ń kọ́.
tani bàbẹ́ ajá nọ́mbà kí ni mo sọ tó kọ́kọ́ dé tálíbi dọ́là mọ́ àbí ajá nọ́mbà 1 ó wà náà nígbà tí mo sọ ajá nọ́mbà 1 ṣé mi ti fún yín ní nǹkan 5,000 bẹ́ẹ̀ ekolo nọ́mbà 1 adìẹ nọ́mbà 1 ẹ̀ tí ẹ̀ mọ́ ẹ̀ kí o. So tẹ́mi bá ń kọjá nídìí àwọn nǹkan tó máa ń tẹ̀lé ìbáfú tó ń pè lọ́wọ́ wọn máa ń pèrè lọ́wọ́ wọn irú irin àwọn káwọn kan tó ń sí ogun wọn máa ń tọ epo sí díẹ̀ n bá débi géètì máa wá di géètì mú pé má jẹ́ kí èèyàn kankan gbọ́ sọ fún mi kẹ́lẹ́kẹ́lẹ́ ṣé wọ́n ló dá mi irin ò sọ̀rọ̀ rí kàkà kí irin sọ̀rọ̀ ọba tó nírin ló sọ̀rọ̀ ní súrà irin. Quran 57:25. Oni wa anzala al-adid. Emi Allah wa anzalna al-adida. Emi mo sọ irin kalẹ̀. Fi ba'sun shadidun wa manafi'u lin-nas. Mo ṣe máa fà ní kẹ́ ẹ lè rí ọ̀bẹ bẹ̀ṣù, kẹ́ ẹ lè rí àdá, kẹ́ ẹ fi roko, kẹ́ ẹ lè rí adé, kẹ́ ẹ fi lajú, kẹ́ ẹ fi gbé dẹ́kìn dúró. Are we okay? Is there any doubt again? How many minutes? 10 minutes. 10 minutes more. She 10 minutes more. To Salati. 10 minutes. It is actually number 2. You know, we're trying to remove some doubts. And you see, doubt is good. He makes you so Salati again. Our money will come. Because our money will come. Drama. Ìkejì ní kéèyàn máa sin lọ́hùn lójú méjèèjì ó lè máa tọrọ owó yẹn máa dàbí alára wọn bá ní ẹ̀mẹ́ka tí òbí aláwọ̀ akíbá lórí tí yẹn pé 500 million fáwọn èèyàn ìjẹ́bù sọ pé ọlọ́run mo máa ń sìn ẹ́ ẹ̀rẹ́kọ̀ ẹ̀ka kílẹ̀ ẹ̀ náà ọlọ́run àwọn sàṣẹ́lá ṣàlàyé ọlọ́run yà wọ́n mọ̀ ọ́lá tó sàmà wá àti wàlá ọjọ́ tó lọ́run dá sánmà àtìlẹ̀ ọ́lá kọ̀mí àtúrámà ó dá ìkẹ́ ọgọ́rùn-ún ìkẹ́ mélòó ló dá wà á ń zàlà mílíà rahmatan wahida ó wá sọ ẹyọ kan kalẹ̀ nínú ẹ̀. وأمسك عنده 99 رحمة وتوجه 99 صدوا عليه.
الله أكبر.
Out of 100, èwo ló sọ̀kalẹ̀. Gbogbo tá à ń bá yí ayé yìí, ẹyọkan ẹni o. Ẹyọkan ẹ ló fi ń jẹ́ àjọkẹ́ ayé. Irọ́ kò jáṣe akẹ́rọ̀. Ẹyọkan ẹ ló fi ń jẹ́ àjọkẹ́ ayé. 99 tó dájú sọ́run ló fi ń jẹ́ àṣàkẹ́ ọ̀run. Ó ní tayé yẹn mo kàn wá fi dán yín wò ni mo wá fi ṣe kí ni ẹ ti dáhùn o ìyẹn kọ́ lórí eré tí mo fẹ́ kẹ́ ṣe mo fi dán yín wò ni tí n bá dẹ̀ fẹ́ dán yín wò ó máa kárí owó ó máa kárí ẹni ń sinmi àtẹni tí ó sinmi. Àìlówó ó máa kárí ẹni tó ń sinmi àtẹni tí ó sinmi kábímọ ó máa kárí ẹni tó ń sinmi àtẹni tí ó sinmi àìrọ́mọbí ó máa kárí torí pé mo fẹ́ fi dán yín wò ni ẹni tó ní kò ní kan ẹni lówó kì í ṣe olóríire ẹni tí ò lówó kì í ṣe olórí ibú. And follow there. The one who has nothing. The one who does not have lacks nothing. Because who is the owner? Mo sura ile gbogbo ile maka. Tabaraka lezi be ya kabiwa. Tabaraka lezi be ya kabiwa. Gbogbo tẹ́lẹ̀ láyé ọwọ́ mi lọ́wọ́ gbogbo tó dáyé ọwọ́ mi lọ́wọ́ kẹ́ lówó ọwọ́ mi ló wà, kẹ́ má ní ọwọ́ mi ló wà, ká bímọ ọwọ́ mi ló wà, ká má bí ọwọ́ mi ló wà. ọkọ ọ̀run àti ìdàkejì ni mi Ọlọ́run. mo fi kárí máa dáyàn wò, mo fi àìrí máa dáyàn wò, mo fi ká gbọ́rọ̀ dáyàn wò, mo fi ká yáyàn lódì, mo fi dáyàn wò, mo fi kẹsẹ̀ méjèèjì máa rìn, mo fi dán wò, kẹsẹ̀ méjì máa rìn mọ́, mo fi dán wò. ọba dídí dé lè bẹ Ọlọ́run, ọba dídí Ọlọ́run. màá máa dá Muslim òpè láwọn kankan àbí màá dá àwọn Christian òpè something different. It is impossible. I will dán yín wò to the same things because I am the Lord of justice. So among you are going to see those who have money, and among them you are going to see those who have money. Is it not so? Among you are going to see those who don't have money, and among them you are going to see those who do not have what? Mo ń dán yín wò ni. So mama sọ pé lágbájá ó ní kíní kan tàbí it is not because you are worshiping me ẹ ṣe lówó ṣe tuntun gbọ́ ẹ ti pín ìmọ̀ bóyá ẹgbọ́n yẹn rí kì í ṣe torí bẹ́ẹ̀ sí mi lè ṣe kíni torí máa fẹ́ni tí ó sì fi tó lówó hàn yín kì í ṣe torí pé òun sì mí ló ṣe lówó máa fẹ́ni tí ó sì mí tó yá olùsí náà máa fi hàn ẹ́ advantage tó wọ́n ní oríire tí wọ́n ṣe ni pé ìwọ concentrate on how to pass the examination. Àwọn ọmọ bọ́ ṣe máa pass. Ẹ sọ pé 4 stages. 4 stages. Emmanuel kí mo ti ṣe ní èso ìbò. Ẹlòmíì ti fẹ́ mọ́ mi lójú pa látàárọ̀. Let me mention these 4 stages, then we go for Salat. For you to succeed in life, you must identify with these 4 stages. There is Ayah to Ishaq. The first stage is the stage of composition. Everybody say stage of composition.
Stage of composition.
That was when you were in your mother's womb. The second stage is Ayah to Ibtila, the stage of examination. When you are born, you begin the stage of examination. Olùmẹ́lò. Àyè àkọ́kọ́ nígbà kan kó wájọ nínú ìyá, àyè ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì nígbà tí a délé ayé, àyè àdánwò lọ́lọ́run pè. The third stage is àyè àtúbàrísàkìyà, that is the stage of transition. Kí la pẹ́lẹ́ kẹta? The stage of transition. And the last stage on the day of judgment is the stage of reward and punishment. Àyè ẹ̀san. Ẹ̀san rere o àti ìyà ọlọ́mọdé àjíyà. Who can tell me the most important of these 4 stages that determines what happens in other stages? Stage wo ló pàtàkì jù tó ṣe pé nǹkan tó bá ṣẹlẹ̀ ń bẹ̀ ló máa sọ tó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ láwọn méjì gbẹ̀yìn? Stage of examination. Ààyè ìdánwò làwà yìí. Tábà máa fi parí wá sí ìwọ ọgbọ́n inú ẹ̀ máa dùn sọ́dọ̀ wọn bẹ́ẹ̀. Ayé kí làwà yìí? Ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ mọ́. Èyí sì kọ́ mọ́ làwọn aṣọ bí àṣẹ lè dúró ṣinṣin nẹ́ẹ̀sì ibi ìmọ̀lódé ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Àìbẹ́ẹ̀kọ́ méjèèjì tẹ́gbọ́ gbọ́ yìí ó wà òkè àbí ó wà òkè. Ṣé ìfẹ́ inú ni mo sọ? Ṣé ìfẹ́ inú ara mi ni mo sọ? Àbí nǹkan tó lọ́wọ́ bá sọ? Now, ọlọ́mọ yàrá dọ̀ ọ́. Ayé kílẹ̀ wá yìí. Àbí? Àdúrà kiri ni ọlọ́mọ yàrá dọ̀ wá yọ ẹ̀kọ́. Bẹ̀tẹ̀ ayé kílẹ̀ wá yìí. Ẹ̀rí kí problem wà. Ẹ̀rí kí problem wà. Tẹ́yìn bá kàn tó sọ pé ọlọ́mọ yàrá dọ̀ wọ́ ẹ̀dọ́ létí ni ẹ̀. Ẹ̀sán ló sùkú ọmọ ó dẹ̀ lọ sí sùkú ó dẹ̀ wà ní examination ó dẹ̀ sí examination hall ẹ wá ní tó kọ́kọ́ ṣe báyìí ẹ wá ní kẹ́ súnmọ́ kẹgbọ́n kan sí fásilà ń sọ wà ní Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ kán ṣe ìdánwò ilé ní ara nǹkan
tó ń bà wá lẹ́rù tàbí ní ọlọ́mọdé aládánwò kékeré ẹ máa gbọ́ àwa ò mọ̀ tún mọ àdánwò iṣẹ́ lára òbí nǹkan burúkú náà níbẹ̀ tẹ́ bá lọ Quran 21 verse 35 ẹ̀ kọ́ lè mọ̀ Quran 21 verse 35 ọlọ́run ní kullu nafsin za'iqatul maut wa nabluukum bish-sharri wal khayri fitnatan ọlọ́run ní màá dán yín wò pẹ̀lú tí inú yín dùn sí tẹ̀torí ẹ̀ ṣe pàtí àti tínú yín bàjẹ́ tẹ̀torí ẹ̀ sunkún méjèèjì kí ni wọ́n lọ́dọ̀ èmi ọlọ́run àdánwò ni ṣùgbọ́n àtẹ́jọ́ náà má jẹ́ àdánwò pé owó ti ń bọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ ìyá kan padà ní ọlọ́dẹ àdánwò ọlọ́dẹ àbímọ má jẹ́ àdánwò. ó wá sọ fún wa pé wàhálà mú ẹ lọ́mọ anama amwalukum wa auladukum fìtínà. ó ní mo fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ kí ọgbọ́n ti bá fún yín mo fẹ́ dán yín wò ni o bó ṣe máa lò ó bí n bá fún ẹ bó ṣe máa ṣe sùúrù gbogbo ọmọ ti bá fún yín kí lọ́mọ ẹni tó bá ń wá ọmọ ó máa dàbí àbí onídàmú tọmọ bá dé kọ ó máa dàbí àbí onídàmú. so ẹ jẹ́ stop bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ ká lè lọ kí o torí mo tó wọlé yẹn gan àdánwò ni àbẹ̀kọ imam ṣàkó máa padà sọ ẹ máa padà ó máa ká mi lára o. The second assignment is to use what you have received. What's the second assignment? The third assignment is pass on to others. What is the third assignment?
Pass on to others.
And the fourth assignment is to be patient when the trials Allah has promised you begin to unfold. Receive, use, pass on, and be patient. Everybody say that.
Use, pass on, and be patient.
An example is this. Receive means acquire the knowledge of the Quran and the hadith of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Receive knowledge from Allah. Assuming that is 25 marks. The next thing to make that knowledge useful and beneficial is for you to use the knowledge. That's another 25 marks. Then you pass on. If you acquire the knowledge of the Quran and you don't teach others, you are still not yet among the best that Allah has created. Prophet Muhammad, he said, خيركم من تعلم القرآن وعلم. The best of you are those who acquire the knowledge of the Quran and then they teach others. That is pass on. And the fourth one, of course, is to be patient when you begin to experience or witness one form of trial or the other. Okay, let me use it in another balance. When your parents were training you, you were receiving. Yes or no? Now you have used the knowledge, and that is why you are here today. You have used the knowledge, you've acquired the knowledge of do not steal, do not fornicate, be humble, be trustworthy. You have used it. What is the next thing? How do you pass on? Child upbringing. Are we here? So if you do not have time for your children, you have failed to pass on. Are you okay with me? Okay, let me use this in another way. When you work to receive dollars, you are receiving. I mean, you are receiving from Allah. So what do you do with it? You use it to buy your house, to buy your car, to provide for your clothing, your feeding. That is part of using. What's number 3? Pass on. Then you go to Quran chapter 4 verse 36. Quran what? Chapter 4 verse 36. And you see 9 categories of people you must pass on to. Allah says, wa'budullah wa la tushriku bihi shay'an. Worship Allah with your money. So when you pass on to this project, you are passing on. Then what you are doing is pass on to your parents. So you distribute. It is a must. Everyone in possession of whatever Allah has given him or her is actually a distributor. What is your name? You are a distributor. Allah mentions your parents. Be good to them. It means pass this money to them. Be good to them in terms of, because they brought you up, and while bringing you up, they become weak, you become strong. So it's like an exchange of roles. After your parents, the Quran says, members of your family. And that is why the husband must pass to the wife. I hope the husbands are here. They are here, they are listening.
Yeah, I mean.
You pass on to your wife, your children, your brothers, your sisters, your members of the family. Then the orphan is there. The orphan no longer has anyone to take care of him or her. That's your transaction with Allah. Then the needy, the poor ones. Then he mentions your neighbors. In Islam, even if your neighbors are non-Muslims, you must be very good to them. Whether they are neighbors you know or the neighbors you do not know. Even if they are far away. Then he even mentioned your friend. Many of us have friends who are suffering. But we talk about our relationship without passing anything over to them. Then he also talked about those who are your subordinates and so on. So can you remind me of the 4 things? Receive, I mean. Receive. Use. Pass on. Be patient. If you hear that somebody steals, what do you think is missing in the life of that person? Which of the stages? Patience is missing. Are you sure he received at all? Are you sure he used what he received? Do not plan to score 3/4. You miss one, you score 0. And I'll tell you how. Somebody who fails to acquire knowledge, can there be any number 2? If you fail to acquire knowledge, there's nothing for you to use. And there's nothing for you to pass on. And you have no value to make you patient. Do you agree with me? So what is wrong in Nigeria? Which of the 4 stages is missing? Listen, let me see. Everything is missing. Let us see you go. Everything is present. Okay, wonderful. Anyway, ẹ̀yin ìyá mi, ẹ̀yin bàbá mi, ntí mo sọ ni pé ẹni bá fẹ́ ní stick ọmọ tó fẹ́ dúró dáadáa. Nǹkan mẹ́rin kò gbọdọ̀ fi kankan ṣeré ńlẹ̀. Ọlọ́run ò fẹ́ ká ṣìnà ló ṣe sọ nǹkan kan kalẹ̀ fún wa. Tẹ bá ń lọ sí ṣé fámásì wa níbí báyìí. Tẹ bá lọ bẹ̀ tẹ bá lọ ra oògùn. Báwo lẹ ṣe lè mọṣẹ́ tó oògùn yẹn máa ṣe? No, báwo lè ṣe máa ṣe máa tó bá gbé oògùn báyìí kí lè ṣe máa mọṣẹ́ tó oògùn yẹn fẹ́ ṣe? Wọ́n kọ kankan sínú ẹ̀ àbí àlàyé tó ṣe sínú ẹ̀ ìtorí pé wọ́n mọ̀ pé oògùn yẹn lè ṣiṣẹ́ méjì, iṣẹ́ ìwòsàn àti iṣẹ́ májèlé. Ẹni tó ṣe oògùn yẹn á wá rọ́jú ṣàlàyé pé nǹkan báyìí ni mo gbọ́. Báyìí lè ṣe lè lò tẹ̀lé lálàáfíà bẹ́ẹ̀. Àìbẹ́ẹ̀kọ́ ẹjọ́ ẹni tó bá fẹ́ lálàáfíà látara oògùn yẹn kí ló yẹ kó ṣe? Ó yẹ kó tẹ̀lé nǹkan tọkọ yẹn àbí? Ẹni tó bá dẹ̀ fẹ́ kó di májèlé kí ló yẹ kí yẹn ṣe? Kò tí ẹ̀ ní ìkó káàbì. Nǹkan tẹ́ sọ yẹn náà lọ́lọ́run ṣe o. Nígbà tó dá wa, tó dá sánmọ̀, tó dálẹ̀, tó dọ́kùnrin, tó dóbìnrin, tó sọ gbogbo ó dá nǹkan. ó wá fi ìwé pélébé tẹ̀lé, ìyẹn ni Al-Qur'ani. Torí mọ̀ pé ilé ayé lè di ìwòsàn fún yín, ilé ayé tẹ̀ lè di májèlé. Ó wá sọ ní Quran 20 verse 123 to 125. Ó ní ìwé tí mo fi ránṣẹ́ yìí, ìwé Al-Qur'ani yìí, ẹnikẹ́ni tó bá tẹ̀lé fala yadillu wala yashqa, ẹnìyàn ò ní sọnù, kò ní ṣorí burúkú. Wa man a'rada an dhikri, àmọ́ ìwé tí mo fi ránṣẹ́ yìí, ẹnikẹ́ni tí ò bá tẹ̀lé fa inna lahu ma'ishatan danka, ẹnìyàn yóò dààmú tí ó fi kú ni. I have said that if you go to the pharmacy and you pick a piece of drug or medication, there is no way you can begin to use it without first reading the instruction. The instruction is written by who? By the manufacturer to guide you. How on earth can you arrive in this world and accept a product and reject the manual? How can you accept the product of Allah? You are the product of Allah. The heavens and the earth are the product of Allah. Everything you see around, they are the products of Allah. You cannot accept the product and reject the manual and expect that you will enjoy the products or that the manufacturer will be happy with you. So anybody who wants to be steadfast, you cannot use what you do not have. We need the knowledge of the Quran. This is just the story. We need what? Do you agree?
Yes.
The next thing to remain steadfast, which will be my fourth point today, is that when Allah revealed the Quran to us, He gave us the explanation of the Quran in the person of Muhammad. So you can safely describe Muhammad as the explanation of the Quran, as the model. Then Allah tells you, because there is nothing you are going to witness in this world that has not been foretold in the Quran. Everything I can, if you want to know why this is happening, I will refer you to the verse immediately. There is nothing, forget it. Because the world was created by who? He knows everything, he sees everything, and the Quran is like an encyclopedia. It explains why you are going through what you are going through. Unfortunately, you know the problem? Number one, we refuse to learn the Quran. You see, many Muslims who cannot even read the Quran. Then those who can read do not care about the meaning of what they read. In Ramadan, everybody say, hello Imam, I finished through Quran. Ask him what he has read. When they say the next item on the agenda is reading from the glorious Quran, and the Quran is read, how many of you have insisted that we want to know the meaning of what has been read? We don't care. We don't understand. We don't care. You must insist. Please explain what you have read. Imam, please explain to us what he has read. You can see Imam leading you and shedding tears at times. You will not understand why. This one is not optional. This is a compulsory part of your life. You must understand the Quran. I want to pray for all of you. Why you don't need much of you? As okay, I mean, certainly, is that a prayer? Is that a prayer? When I just give one, is that a prayer? Timba Shibe kone wo yinara. Ṣàdúrà mo ṣe yẹn. Ọlọ́ni gbogbo tó ń rẹ́ èèyàn jẹ láyé abẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Bóyá wọn náà jẹ́ wà ní ọmọ tó mọ̀. Gbogbo ẹ̀ tẹ́ ń kí nǹkan sí ìgbọ̀n tẹ́ máa yọ. abẹ́gẹ̀t ìpè lọ́lọ́run ṣe ń bẹ̀. Tí bá parí lẹ́kṣọ̀ yìí ẹni tí ò bá ti lọ wọlé kí ó nù yín ó ti jẹ̀bi o. Ẹ̀mọ̀ pé lẹ́ẹ̀kẹ́ máa gbẹ máa gbọ́. Ilé kí ó tí mo sọ èèyàn tó bá pé 100 years nínú yín ló kọ́kọ́ máa rẹ́gísítà. Kí gbogbo èyí tó kù tẹ́lẹ̀ tó 100 years kẹ́lẹ̀ mọ̀ pé iná gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe kí ni dandan ni. Kódà kí wọ́n máa ka á ní ìgbà tasa kó kú sí díẹ̀ Ọlọ́run máa gbé títí lálẹ́ kò lárí ni. Àníyàn mú mi ní olóore ju iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ ẹ̀ lọ. Ẹ ti ṣèjì ẹ̀ fún mi ẹ̀dá mi lóhùn mọ́. Ẹ jọ listening to lectures kò wúlò. If number 2 is not there, what's number 2? Using what you have heard. And the best way to use what we have heard is that as soon as we finish this program, you begin implementation. If you are yet to register to learn the Quran, make a decision today. Today is an important day in our life. That's why I started by saying, be ready to unlearn, be ready to learn and relearn. The person who has come to speak to you is not better than you. I'm not better than anybody. But what is wrong is for us to assume that, oh, that lecture was interesting, but at the end of the day, there is no benefit. The only way you can make it beneficial is to be truthful to yourself. It is good to run after dollars. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless your dollars. But then you need to ask yourself, what is it that you want to do that has not been done? Which houses do you want to build that others have not built? You see buildings like this, take time to go around and find out who built this. You see many buildings standing without their owners. To make your life meaningful is why Allah has taught you Islam. You cannot joke without the manual. You cannot joke with the manual and the model. The manual is the Quran, the model is Muhammad. Thomas sọ nípa ẹ̀sìn kọ́mọ̀ nǹkan kan mìíràn tó fi gbó ní ìsìn àwọn nǹkan kan sọ nìyẹn. Ẹlòmíì ọmọ ni òní ó kàn lè kékeré. Ìmí ti níṣẹ́ kò níṣẹ́ mọ́, bákan ní gbogbo nǹkan ti ń dáhùn ó lè lọ dáláwo. Bọ̀dé náà pè ní sìkọ́mọ̀ ìpè ó fa o, ó gùn o, ó kúrú o. Ọmọ láìláha kí ló máa wá mú yàn tí yàn fi ń dúró ṣíṣí òní tá a sọ látara. Number 5. 3 things you must do, 3 things you must avoid. What are the 3 things you must do if you want this religion to be easy for you? Because there are so many people, look, they mention some of our brothers, they gather themselves together, put down $11,000. One day, inshallah, you put down $11 million. You will now see some people who also have what those people had at the time they were donating, but who found it very difficult to donate. And I will tell you why it is difficult to do and why it is easy to do. Even as you are performing your religious duties, there are people who say, oh, honestly, Elijah, I also like to be going to the masjid. You understand? Just help me to beg Allah to make it easy for me. Abi? Everybody, àwọn tó máa sọ pé mọ́mí ìfẹsẹ̀ ṣe ó mú mi honestly ọlọ́run wá fẹ́ tó àṣírí lọ́ọ́ ní èmi kọ́ ọ mi ò fi ní ẹnikẹ́ni lára o èèyàn tó bá máa rọ̀ lọ́rùn nǹkan mẹ́ta ló ṣe ló jẹ́ kó rọ̀ lọ́rùn ẹni tó ní lára yìí nǹkan mẹ́ta nìyẹn náà ṣe tó jẹ́ kó ní lára. My brothers and devil tells you, please pray to Allah. I have come to terms with all you are saying, and I just want Allah to make it easy for me. You tell him straight away that Allah has made it easy. It's only human beings who make it difficult for themselves. You're now referring to Quran chapter 92, Surah Al-Layl. Deliberately, Allah has made that surah a surah of words and opposites. Allah mentions the night, He mentions the day. He mentions the creation of male and female, as if to say, it is easy for you, it is difficult for you. This is what happened in Nasriyahum Lashatta. Your ways will never be the same. The ways of those who obey their Lord and those who disobey their Lord, they will never be the same. Those who are afraid of standing before Allah and those who are neglectful, who does not consider their Creator to be anything. They cannot have present receipts issued to them for their hand, because if you bought this from a supermarket, nobody will ask you to show gratitude because you paid for it. Tell me what you paid for in your body. Did you pay for your mouth? Did you pay for the installation of your tongue? Have you ever thought about your alimentary canal? Your digestive system? Do you know the system that runs in you? Have you checked what is called the nervous system? Have you wondered about your respiratory organ? Do you wonder how you grow without your participation? Is it a joke? You are here and people with millions of dollars do not have what you have. Because you have many of them who can no longer take in oxygen. They cannot longer bring out carbon dioxide because of the collapse of their system. You took your bath today. What did you wash? Did you wash your kidney? Did you wash your liver? Who is washing your lungs for you? Your Lord sanitizes you without your participation. It prevents you from various types of evil without your knowledge. You are a machine that works 24/7. And the operator of that machine says, I deserve some respect. And you talk about living your own life as if you bought that life, as if you bought that generator. So the one who owns you says, oh yeah, you will never be like that person who is worshiping Allah. Your ways will be different. Then he reveals to you 3 things that that person did that made it easy for him to always worship Allah, to donate, to always serve him. It's extremely easy. In fact, it is easier for him to transact business with his Lord than it is easy for you to transact with the world. It's Fahaman Ado. Everybody say one. Watako. Say 2. Wasotako Bilehusna. Say 3. Fasano Yasiru Bilehusna. You are looking for a istiqamah, you want to stand firmly. This person did 3 things. What is the first thing the person did? Everybody say, he gave. Everybody say that he gave everything to the one who owns it. He gave everything. He owes me, so I give him back. Allah, you own me, I give you everything you gave me. It means you are free to use it anytime. You extended my life till this moment, so when it is time for Salat, you own me. I go there. I submit myself to you. No one deserves my attention when you call me. They gave everything. Who gives us money? Stop now. Maybe you want to change it for me. Do you know Allah gave you the money? Should I prove it to you? You think you are wise because you are a director in any organization, and then you did your feasibility studies, and then you did your SWOT analysis, you know your strength, your ability, you know those gimmicks, Who gave you the brain? From where did you have the brain? Have you seen what is up here? Have they opened it in your presence? To see the interconnections. Do you choose that I do not want to be autistic? Because those who have Down syndrome, they did not offend Allah. So I always tell people that Allah must do 7 things before $5 will move from one person to the other. How many things will Allah do? The person, somebody gave you money, Allah must create that person. And Allah must create you. If you are not created, you can't collect anything. Number 3, that money the person wanted to give you, Allah must first give you. Because what you do not have, you cannot give. Then Allah will direct His mind towards you. You are not the only one in New Jersey. Then Allah will prevent the occurrence of anything that will make it difficult for Him to fulfill the promise. Because if I say I want to give you $50 and I've seen it in my account that I have $50, only for the doctor to tell me that I need to pay $200, I will not even remember that I promised you. Say nobody will know your money. Number 6, Allah must preserve. She has been sent baby. I will forever remember this picture. So, just note the following ones. So the 3 things the person did that made Islam easy for him, he gave everything to Allah. Number 2, he feared Allah. Number 3, he believes in the promise that Allah has made for those who submit to Him. He believed in that promise. His belief that if I do this, I will get this reward is what drove him, and everything will be easy for him to submit to Allah. The person who finds it difficult to worship Allah also did 3 things. Number 1, wa'amaman bakhil. He was extremely selfish. He was not ready to give to Allah what Allah gave him. Selfish with his money, with his time, with his wealth, with his possession. You cannot see his presence when Allah is mentioned. And number 2, what's that now? Became arrogant. He was also arrogant. And to worsen it, he disbelieved in all the promises Allah has made. When somebody does not believe that there is punishment, what will happen? Religion will be difficult for you. Life will be difficult. To donate will be difficult. To worship will be difficult. Can I list it? And I should just list it. I want to know. Which is going on. There are also 3 things that you must obey if you want to be steadfast. Go to Quran chapter 4 verse 59. Atilullah, Atilullah Rasul, obey Allah, obey His prophets and the leaders. You find it very difficult to be misled. It's difficult to mislead you. 3 things you must never obey. Never obey yourself. Whenever yourself runs contrary to what Allah wants. You find that in Quran 45 verse 23. The self. Secondly, do not follow shaitan. It's there. Allah tells you. So to have this in common, don't joke with Surah to Nas, Surah to Father. Don't joke with them. Kul a'uzu abi. Always say, oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from the apostle shaitan. Emma shall also be like God. And then do not follow the disbelievers. Here, you have many disbelievers in this country. Don't say they motivate you. Disbelievers must not motivate you. Because their preferences are different from yours. I hope you understand. Yes. So you don't sacrifice 99 because of one. Those who were here, they understand 99. I mean, the 99 that is kept for those who worship Allah, you don't sacrifice because of one that is meaningless.
The other point is have righteous companions. Anybody want to be steadfast, need righteous companions. Because show me your friend. Then you must also have a class. Mission list, a class. Whatever you want to do because of Allah. If you are doing show off, you cannot have this to come on. It won't last. Then also make sure that you moderate your religion. Not to be too extreme. You know what it means? You wake up in the night now. Instead of doing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 raka, you are doing 500 raka. You cannot maintain it. You cannot compare that 500 raka with 2 raka or Salat Subuhi. I mean, so anyway, open my repetition. It's about 17. Maybe I don't know what I will do. Hey, Allah believe you. Every day down, Emma Shadra. Can they be a brother Swanjo Compagnia? In terms of money, be 10 years old when wine, Abdul Lateef. I'm going to be fancy, could be shaped for you. One day, the one with the two master crouching our head, only pouring out in the long need, be fine to the operation. Tí gbogbo wa tó bá jẹ́ gbogbo nǹkan tá à ń tọrọ láàrin ayé àti ìdánwò ṣé ká try ẹ̀ gbogbo wa tẹ́lẹ̀ gbogbo nǹkan tá à ń fẹ́ láàrin ayé àti ìdánwò ó yẹ kí n sọ fún Ọlọ́run bá mi fún everybody ní ayé ní $500 billion. Kí ló máa bọ́ ṣẹlẹ̀? Lẹ́yìn tí mo kọ́ tó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ rẹ̀ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ gbé mọ́tò àbí tẹ́lẹ̀ ní epo ẹ̀yin pẹ́ẹ́lí kankan ní filling station yìí kí náà wá dáhùn. Àwọn dọ́kítọ̀ tó tírìtì kí wọ́n ṣe tírìtì ẹ̀rí dọ́kítọ̀ tírìtì mọ́. Mo sọ fún àwọn kan lẹ́kọ̀ọ́, ìgbọ́n náà ní dírẹ́bà àwọn ọkùnrin àdàbẹ́ yìí. Àwọn ìyá ẹ̀kọ́ lẹ́yìn ìyá tí dírẹ́bà gbé wá bí ẹ̀kọ́ bá ti ní $500 billion. Ẹ̀rí dírẹ́bà bí ọkọ̀ ẹ̀ lọ. Tí táyà yìí bá jó ẹ̀rí ní fọ̀gànáísà. Ọmọ ìtura lọ́mú olùrẹ́ níbẹ̀ kọ́lé ẹ̀tọ́ ṣe méjìlá kí ló wá ẹ̀rẹ́ ní ṣoògùn kankan mọ́. Ètò Ọlọ́run wà, you have to understand that ètò Ọlọ́run wà. Nígbà tí máa ṣàdúrà tí ìjọba ti dábàá máa lé òbí tó Ọlọ́run Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ nífẹ̀ẹ́ mi ó máa tó dáa jù. Okay, all this money you are talking about, can you compare $500 billion with your 2 eyes? Already wàgbà ó tẹ̀ ní ọ̀gá tó máa náwó yẹn. Everybody tell the person beside you what Allah is giving you is greater than what you are looking for. Ntọ́nà fún yín ojú táwọn náà ṣẹ́rí àti dúró ṣinṣin wọ́n tẹ̀sán ní ẹ̀wọ̀n alábàárìn rẹ̀ o. Then Islam is a total package. Ẹ máa yọ ọkàn kúrò nínú ẹ̀ o. Ẹ bá ti yọ ọkàn kò ní fìtì mọ́ o. Nísìnyí wọ́n ní máa wáyé máa yà. Wọ́n ní kí ni? Wọ́n ní ká má ṣe kí ni? Tó bá ti wáyé máa yà wọ́n ní nísìnyí kọ́ mọ̀. Ẹ jọ ẹ̀yin yá mi eré orí kí àwọn àdúgbò ẹ̀dá tẹ́lẹ̀ kò darí. Ẹ sọ kí mi ò ní problem. Kí ló ṣe é tí ó ṣe nìkan rí? Tí kò bá ti ṣe máa bí rẹ Ọlọ́run ní ọdún ṣe ẹ̀yìn kó lè gbé first kó lè bí last. Ọmọ ló kù ọmọ mẹ́fà ló kú má nàbí lọ́wọ́. Ìwọ́n wáyé ní tó ṣorí ní tánàbí Muhammad. Sáwà lálọ́ ọmọ ìṣègbè Ọlọ́run lé ní wọn. Ó ní wọn kan tó ń sunkún wọn nígbà sunkún wọn náà. Má jẹ́ kí nǹkan kan tóbi lẹ́nu ẹ̀ tó bá fẹ́ ní sìkọ́ mọ̀ kí ni mo dì mú yìí. Ẹ sọ pé tọ́ṣà ń lò ó. Ẹ sọ dáadáa. Mo ti gbélé. Ìtumọ̀ ẹni pé tàdánwó kan bá dé má dì í mú púpọ̀. Bó ṣe wà yìí, tí bá dì í mú fún 3 hours kí ló máa ṣọwọ́ mi? Tí bá dì í mú 7 days nǹkan. Tí bá dì í mú fún 1 month nǹkan. Òun ṣe ọmọjọ́ tó ti rò ní àdánwò èèyàn kan láti ẹ̀ tó fi. Ọmọjọ́ tó ti rò. Sọ́dọ̀ tí wọ́n lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ tọ́ṣà ń lò. mẹ́rin sínú lọ́rẹ̀. Ẹsẹ̀ òkèjẹ́ ló mẹ́rin torí pé ìmọ̀dúró nílẹ̀ ìbáṣọ́ tó ṣe ń lò. So, nǹkan fún aṣọ fún yìí rè, àṣírí ni wọ́n tún fún yìí rè. Ṣé gbogbo wá sí tẹ́ bá ti ń gbọ́ mọ́ṣáláṣí ẹ má ṣe alágbọ̀dánù ẹtì kì í ṣe ẹni tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ ló pàtàkì ẹni tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ ló ṣe kí ni ẹ má máa wọ ẹni tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹni tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ tó ti sọ fún mi pé sọ́dọ̀ máa fi parí ọ̀rọ̀ asán àgbàṣe ó ní ìjọ tí mo ti mọ̀ pé àrísìkí mi kò sí lọ́wọ́ ẹnìkan àfọlọ́hún lèmi mi ti balẹ̀ pípẹ́ nìkan ò lè gba nǹkan tọ́lọ́hún bá fún mi ẹnìkan ò sì lè fún mi ní tọ́lọ́hún ò fún mi. ọwọ́ ta ló wà ta ló fún yàn Quran 35:2 onímọ̀ yẹn fún àyíláwò lè ná sí mìíràn àwọn tí ìfà náà mú sí kálá ìtì bá ló máa jẹ́ tiẹ̀ dáadáa kò sẹ́ni tó lè gbà lọ́wọ́ àmọ́ yóò sì kì í tí bá wá dìbò gbogbo ìdọ́gbẹ̀ kò sẹ́ni tó lè fún ẹ lẹ́yìn ìlú ọlọ́. ẹni bá gbọ́ yẹn ó yẹ kọ́kọ́ ìbalẹ̀ àbí ẹ̀kú balẹ̀ ó mú ọ̀rọ̀ di aláàánú oníkòsá burú láyé mi èmi tí ẹ kí mo gọ̀ èmi aláìmọ̀ kan ó ní gbogbo ọlọ́run ti fẹ́ mi dáadáa ni ó ní tí bá tọrọ ọkọ tí bá rí dáadáa wà lẹ́yìn tí bá tọrọ ọkọ tí bá rí àbúrò wà lẹ́yìn tọrọ lọ́run nífẹ̀ẹ́ mi ju mo ṣe nífẹ̀ẹ́ ara mi lọ. Ó sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kejì oníjọ́ tí mo ti rí pé mi lè gba ládàá látara tí bàbá mi bá ṣe àti tí bá ṣe fúnra mi ọ̀yà tẹ̀ramọ́ ìṣe ìjọsìn fúnra mi. Kò ṣe delegate ìyàwó mi rẹ̀ sí mi lè sọ pé ìjọba ní kí wọ́n gbé mi. Kò ṣe àwọn àyàn mi ṣe ń ṣe. Nínú gbogbo owó tẹ ní ìwé lẹ́mọ̀ tó jẹ́ ti èyí tẹ iná yẹn ti yín o èyí tẹ gbé lẹ kìí ṣe ti yín o èyí tẹ títí síwájú yìí ti yín o bàbá tẹ òkú èèyàn lẹ káàbà pé wọn ní ilé àwọn garanti ẹni tí o ẹni tó ń kírun sí lára lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ wò o lè kú sáré àwọn mùsùlùmí náà kírun sí lára bọ́lá níbi ògbà nígbà tó ti gbé òṣìṣẹ́ rí ó sì lè kú sáré kẹfìrí kó má lẹ́ni kírun sí lára kọ́ lọ́sọ̀ má lè jọ lọ́dọọdọ. Àsìkò tẹ́lẹ̀ ṣe lè wáyé o. Ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹta oníjọ́ tí mo ti mọ̀ yìí pé Ọlọ́run ń wò mí. Kò dẹ̀ sí ibi tí mo wà tí mo lè fara pamọ́ fún lójú tí ń tì mí àti ṣẹ̀. Ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹrin oníjọ́ tó ti dá mi lójú pé dandan ni kú. Mo ti ń palẹ̀ mọ́ àti pàdé ẹ̀ ẹni tó wá ń palẹ̀ mọ́ àti pàdé ẹ̀ ẹ̀jọ̀ kí ló lè dùn mọ́ nílé ayé ìdàgbà kí lè fẹ́ gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ tó fẹ́ wù kí lè fẹ́ fún tí ó wà pàpà sí lọ́pọ̀lọ́ tí ò ní lè ṣe tọ́lọ́ mọ́. ẹni tí ó bá ṣe é sí kọ́nà yóò jà ó lẹ́sẹ̀ kọ́nà ń gbé nǹkan lẹ́sẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ní ẹ̀wọ̀n bá ẹnì kan ní lọ́ọ̀lẹ́ rẹ̀ ju ẹ̀ lẹ̀ kí ni mo sọ jọ mọ́ yẹn wò kú ló ń jẹ bẹ́ẹ̀ wá fẹ́ ṣó skill ilẹ̀ tó ti wò kú o ti rírì kúrì dandan ní kó ró èrò kérò ó máa padà ṣiṣẹ́ kú ṣe ìgbà tó ti ní rẹjọ́ ẹ̀ lẹ̀ máa wò ó tó ti mọ̀ pé tẹlifóònù ìyá kò tí ì ṣù mí olójú tó yẹ kí n wò bẹ́ẹ̀ ìyàwó níyàwó ọkọ ọlọ́kọ ọmọ ọlọ́mọ kí n jìnnà sí i. Bẹ́ẹ̀ o ní màá wò tí máa wò dáadáa o fẹ́ gbọ́dọ̀ lọ́nà ni tó tàbá kejì Islam tó bá yẹ yẹ parọ́ mọ́ tó bá yẹ parọ́ gbàgbé ẹ̀ o lè ní sí kan mọ́ o ń pọ́n mi sínú apẹ̀rẹ̀ tó ń jò nìyẹn tó lẹ́nu tó bá ń parọ́ aṣèkínì o lè dìgbà bọ́lá máa jà o. Ìtàṣẹ ló máa ṣe náà sọ̀rọ̀ Ọlọ́run ni mo bẹ̀ Ọlọ́run kó gbà lọ́wọ́ ní oníjọ́sìn o. Ọlọ́run kó gbà lọ́wọ́ tí náà jọ sí o. Ọlọ́run jẹ́ oyè ju tí mo sọ lọ́wọ́. torí mi ò ní discipline gbogbo tí mo kọ tó yẹ kí n lè sọ mi ò rí sọ ẹ̀sìn ẹ̀kọ́ díẹ̀ díẹ̀ ṣá ọlọ́run jẹ́ kẹ́yìn mọ̀ ọ̀pọ̀ ju bébí ṣe sọ lọ ẹ̀dúró tọ́lọ́mù kò sí tó ṣe yín tó yẹ ìnìkan tó ṣe o nígbà bá ti ṣe ọkọ ẹnìkan kúnjọ kan àpò wọn ṣubú máa sọ fún àpò àjẹbẹ alọ́kọ ẹ ti kún bí èèyàn 60 lọ́wọ́ wọn kọ́kọ́ ló dìde o ọlọ́mọ náà tọ́mọ ẹ kú tó ṣe pé ìbànújẹ́ ni ọmọ mẹ́rin lọ́wọ́ gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹgbẹ́ ọkọ ìyá wa náà kọ́ lọ́mọ wa dúró tì obìnrin gidi ni kódà ó ń ṣe àjì lọ́wọ́ ńgbà tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ẹ̀tọ́ sí làbẹ́ ìkàwọ́ ọmọ mẹ́rin pàtó wá ní káwá sí wá sí ọkùnrin pé ẹjọ́ ọlọ́run ló sọ àgbẹ̀rẹ̀ bí kọ́lọ́ ń kọ́rọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ o ó ní yíyá sásùn kọ́rọ̀ àgbẹ̀rẹ̀ mọ́sálẹ̀ kọ́ ọmọ kọ́rẹ́ wọn èsì ìwọ ní kọ́kọ́ ọ̀tá láti fi kọ́kọ́ kọ́ ẹ̀ láti fi kọ́ ẹ̀ wọ́n yé èèyàn wọ́n ní yẹn mọ̀ yẹn tó mọ̀ ẹ̀kú wà bí o àwọn tó lọ wálé ní 100 tí kò bá ṣe kókó máa wà conscious of it ṣé mi nìkan ó lóun dání láti dán mi o bí ṣe máa yé bí ìdánwò ló máa ta ọlọ́ọ̀dẹ ayé mi ọlọ́ọ̀fọ̀ alówó àbí ìsìkẹ́tẹ̀ ìrẹ́ látàrọ̀ ọlọ́ọ̀fọ̀ alówó ọlọ́ọ̀fọ̀ alọ́mọ fún alókìá ọ jẹ́ ká yé bí o wọ́n jẹ́ kó gbàgbé sí lọ́wọ́ wa our children are very sorry o may Allah be with you we love you we are so happy that you have created time to listen to this lecture may Allah grant you all it takes to be righteous children. May Allah bless all your efforts. May Allah make you succeed in your examinations. May Allah make you the comfort of the eyes of your parents. And one day I hope that you will stand as I am standing and you will be able to address people, to invite as many people to Islam as possible.
We give thanks to Allah for the opportunity to listen to our father, our brother, our teacher, these words of admonition. We pray to Allah to make the words beneficial to all of us. We pray to Allah to make it a reminder, as Allah says in the Quran, that you should remind, because the reminder benefits the believers. May Allah count us amongst those who will benefit from the reminder. And may Allah make the reminder a source of benefit for him as well in this world and in the hereafter. As he set out all the way from Nigeria, went to Texas, he came here, he's going to South Jersey. Everywhere he's going all over, spreading the words of Allah, calling to the path of Allah. We pray to Allah to protect him. We pray to Allah to continue to guide him. We pray to Allah to continue to make him a shining light that guides on the Sirat al-Mustaqim. Gbogbo ìgbìyànjú tó ń ṣe lórí ọ̀nà ẹ̀sìn Islam yìí, ọlọ́run dákun ní ọba mi tó lérè. Aṣíwájú ni ọlọ́run bá ṣe wọ́n, ọlọ́run bá ṣe wọ́n lérè ìyá ńlá. Gbogbo tó wá sọ fún wa, ọlọ́run dákun ní ó ṣe wá láǹfààní. Ọlọ́run máa ṣe ní àgbọ́dànù, ọlọ́run ṣe ní àgbọ́múlò, ọlọ́run sì yóò ṣe wá láǹfààní. Àwọn náà kọ́ sí mú fún wa, ọlọ́run gbóná wá sọ́nà, ọlọ́run yóò ṣe àwọn láǹfààní. Ilé ayé àtàlà òkè àná, ọlọ́lá ilé ayé ìlà, àdúgbò púpọ̀ ọlọ́run bá àdúgbò fún yín. Ọlọ́run ló lè bá aṣọ ilé ẹ̀sùn rẹ̀, ọlọ́run ló ní ẹ̀sọ́ tó dáwọ́dọ̀, ọlọ́run kó dàgbò bá aṣọ ilé ẹ̀sùn rẹ̀. Ẹ̀ńtẹ́ ń tọrọ ọlọ́run ní ara, ọlọ́run bá ṣe fún yín. Ẹ̀ńtẹ́ ìfẹ́ lábúrú, ọlọ́run kó lè jìnnà sí yín. Ọlọ́lá ilé ayé ìlà, gbogbo tó lè ti dáná ọ̀rọ̀ yín, ọlọ́run má jẹ́ kí bàjẹ́ ọkàn. Ẹ̀ńtọ́ jẹ́ ẹ̀tọ́ ọkàn fún yín, ọlọ́run kó dàgbò kó dùn yín lórí ẹ̀. Àdúrà yín lórí ara yín, lórí ìyàwó, lórí àwọn ọmọ, lórí ẹbí, lórí ara, lórí ìjọmọ́, ọlọ́run kó dàgbò kó pàdúrà yín. Ọlọ́lá ilé ayé ìlà, ìtẹ̀sẹ̀ fún wa náà tó ọlọ́run kó gbà. Ọlọ́lá ilé ayé ìlà, káṣí fátíà, ọlọ́run kó dàkún àwọn bàbá wa Dr. Abdul-Lateef Abdul-Lateef, ọlọ́run kó wà pẹ̀lú yín, ọlọ́run bá sọ ilé sọ̀rọ̀ Al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alayhim ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim waladdallin. Jazakumullahu khairan.
Abdul-Hakim Abdul-Lateef. We declare that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was said to one of his companions, Anas, the son of Malik. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him then, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Anas, may Almighty Allah increase you in sustenance. May Almighty Allah increase you in sustenance. Anas, may Almighty Allah increase you in offspring. May Almighty Allah increase you in offspring. Anas, may Almighty Allah give you, may Almighty Allah, Anas, may Almighty Allah give you a long life. May Almighty Allah give you a long life and forgive your sins and give you the paradise. God will do that for you and do that for each every one of us. Wallahi, we really appreciate your effort in Islam all over the world. Only Almighty Allah can reward you. May Almighty Allah reward you and reward your family. Let's recite Inna Atayna. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna Atayna al-Kawthar. فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. اللهم لك الحمد ما خلقتنا ورزقتنا وأديتنا وعلمتنا وأنقذتنا وفرجت عنا، ولك الحمد بالإسلام، ولك الحمد بالقرآن، ولك الحمد بالإيمان، ولك الحمد بالآل والمال والمحبة. اللهم زدنا ولا تنقصنا، واكرمنا ولا تهنا، وآتينا ولا تحرمنا، واغفرنا ولا تغفر علينا يا رب العالمين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب القبر وقنا عذاب يوم القيامة. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Thank you so much. Obrigado,